Hey everybody, it's your boy John coming at you with another Marvel review, this time of Marvel Visionaries Peter David Incredible Hulk Volume 3. Now, you might be wondering, this is kind of out of the blue and I have not done Volume 1 and 2. That's because I read those a while back and I have just been continuing this run. These have been out of print for a while. I believe Volume 4, 5, and 8 are the hardest to find. The others are pretty easy to find. And this one consists of Incredible Hulk 349 through 354, Web of Spider-Man number 44, and Fantastic Four 320, as the first few issues have some crossover to them. Now, I started reading this series because the Marvel Epic collections don't start with the beginning of the Peter David run. They start right after these Visionaries. When the Epics originally came out, they really wanted to fill in the gaps of stuff that had not been printed yet. And so they took the stuff that already had printings and all that and kind of pieced their collections around it. And so I've been wanting to read this mainly because I've been trying to catch up and get up on the Epic collections there. But I also heard that Peter David's run on the Hulk, which lasted a long time, is some of the best Hulk that there is. It's kind of the definitive Hulk. I've read all the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby stuff and really enjoyed it. And so I just wanted to dive into some later Hulk and see what was going on. Now, the first Peter David volume was a weird start point where the Hulk actually had diverged from Bruce Banner and was actually a secondary Hulk. And Banner was actually tracking down that Hulk. And then there was Rick Jones actually became a Hulk for a little bit, and they were kind of fighting. Banner eventually has to get back with the Hulk because of a plot with the leader, and he then becomes this Gray Hulk. And the Gray Hulk is very different than the Green Hulk in that the Gray Hulk is smart, and the Gray Hulk is kind of like this cunning evil mastermind, and he only comes out in darkness. Bruce Banner is during the day, and the Hulk is during the night. It goes through the phases of the moon and all that, and the Hulk gets stronger depending on the moon and all that. And eventually, the Hulk gets rid of Bruce Banner entirely. And all this time, everybody thinks that the actual Hulk is dead, and we don't get an explanation about what happened to this, quote, dead Hulk until this volume, actually. And the Hulk, at this point, has moved to Las Vegas. He goes by the name Mr. Fixit, and he just is helping out mobsters, basically. It's a very weird time in the run, and I honestly don't enjoy it that much because it's up until this point, because the Hulk really is an anti-hero more than a hero, and I don't enjoy that so much. I'd say it's just that typical 90s dark Marvel sort of stuff. When was this actually done? I don't know what the actual dates on this were. Maybe we can find out inside. It says 1988, 1989. So this is about when the 90s are almost ready to start. This does not lay very well, so I'm going to try to do this with my hands, see how it goes. It starts out with Spider-Man coming out to Las Vegas, and he fights the Hulk Peter Parker's doing like a book tour or something like that for his pictures of Spider-Man. Hulk's current girlfriend, Marlo, looks a lot like Mary Jane, but she's 6'3". There's some mercenaries out here, and I guess they're robots who are trying to fight for supremacy within their deal. And Spider-Man and the Hulk are just caught up in it. So we get a little Hulk Spider-Man action. What I dislike about this volume a lot is the art. It's just pretty atrocious here. This is late 80s, early 90s art where Marvel's starting to lose its house style. We just came off of Todd McFarlane, who has a very similar style to this at the time, and I think this is just like a four-man's Todd McFarlane going down, and so that's what we have here. It then migrates into the Fantastic Four, as you see. Whoops, I jumped ahead a little too far. Dr. Doom sort of tricks the Hulk into fighting the Thing, and the Thing actually has turned into this weird spiky rock monster at this point. I don't know what's happening in Fantastic Four. I don't know this era very well, because I haven't caught up on all of it yet. And we have a knockdown, drag-out fight of the Hulk and the Thing, just like classic times. Now, I think that they did these crossovers right here because Hulk 350 is about to come out, and they wanted to get Fantastic Four and Spider-Man readers checking out the Hulk and getting into that at that point. And they fight again. They fight some more. Hulk almost drowns the Thing, and then this whole thing's kind of called off with Dr. Doom, and the Hulk then meets up with the Beast, and it apparently goes into Atlantis Attacks from here, and the Hulk gets pulled into that crossover, which is not contained in this book, but is one of the Marvel events of the time. So when he comes back from Atlantis Attacks, the Hulk finally remembers what happened to him. The Hulk ended up going into this realm called Jarella's world, where Harlan Ellison actually developed Jarella's world. It's like this micro universe of green people and stuff like that, and they worship the Hulk as a god there because he just beats up some things. Some pretty interesting concepts here. I like the Jarella's world arc a lot, and I think it was probably the best of this volume because you get some interesting stuff going on here, and a much more interesting plot than what's going on with the Mr. Fixit stuff. Just green people. There's they're saying this is the anti-Hulk, and that gray is the sign that he's the false Hulk and all that. It's pretty neat concept as it's coming back into that. I know Peter David and Harlan Ellison knew each other. They worked together on Babylon 5, and so that's probably why he got to do this here. And whoops, and then that plot line ends rather quickly. When it comes back, Bruce Banner is back, and Bruce Banner now meets Marlo for the first time. She kind of takes him under her wing, and a big mob war erupts with the Magia, however you want to pronounce it, coming into town. And this is Bruce Banner and the Hulk talking in a dream. And it's a standard mob sort of plot line with the Hulk kind of in the middle. The Hulk shows up. There's not a ton of tension here because the Hulk's just fighting people who are not, gonna really hurt him. So I mean, there's some interesting developmental stuff with the Marlo stuff and the background character stuff with Peter, with her and Banner and all that. But the main storyline is just not that tense or interesting. Of course, we get some nice 90s cheesecake going on right here. Again, I just don't like this art, though. I think the faces look funny. I think the proportions look funny. I think they're trying too hard to do some new style, different thing. And that's it. Marlo actually tries to set Banner up with her roommate, not realizing that he's the Hulk. And she's dating the Hulk, which is very interesting. Very, very weird setup. But it leads to some fun hijinks moments. Then what happens is they try to set up one of the casino bosses, who then bets that the Hulk can take out all the guy's men, and he makes a ton of money off of betting on the Hulk. Actually, pretty good use of the casino as far as the world building goes, and as far as tying that into the plot. I kind of appreciate that. And then it ends. So you're just stuck here. It's not that big of a volume, so not too many things going on here. Overall, I thought the crossovers were, they were crossovers. You get the generic superhero fight because there's a misunderstanding, and then they team up and all that. And it was okay. I mean, I really felt like those were promotional stunts in order to try to get people to check out the Hulk for the 350 as a jumping on point or something like that. And it became a pretty good jumping on point with Jarella's world after that. And then the reveal of that the Hulk got pulled into Jarella's world rather than actually getting blown up by the gamma bomb, like everybody thought. That's a standard comic. Oh, he didn't really die. So I kind of rolled my eyes at that. It was kind of stupid. But I liked the Jarella's World story. That worked out pretty good. That was probably my favorite of Peter David's run so far. Peter David's run really suffers from edginess a little bit too much, I think. I think he tries to be edgy all the time with there's hookers in the bars and, like that kind of thing. And then, with the Betty Ross relationship prior to this kind of souring, overnight after it, literally they got married, I think the issue before Peter David jumped on, and then he just torched it. So, I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't know. Everybody says Peter David is the best run on Hulk. But so far, I'm not super impressed. Like I said, I think the art is some of the worst 90s stuff, or 80s, 90s stuff I've read. And that makes it a little difficult to do. The plot lines really aren't that tense. I kind of want him to stop being Mr. Fixit and somebody to figure out that he's the Hulk and figure this whole thing out. I'm looking forward to that storyline, but it's just dragging on a little too much in this casino stuff. So it's a mixed bag. I'd give it probably a 6.5 out of 10 overall. It's not Peter David does pretty well on the storytelling. I mean, each issue has a story. He's very good with dialogue and creating quote funny jokes and things like that. So and I, like I said, I enjoyed that Jarella's World storyline a lot. I will be moving on to the next one because there's 8 of these volumes. So basically, these 8 volumes precede the Epic collections, which are out. And I believe there's 4 Epic collections of Peter David's run out so far. So a lot of content, and I'm told that like it goes all over the map. So I'll be able to find something I like in there eventually. For now, this is it, and I hope you enjoyed this review. I will be continuing on with this series just like I am with the Thor Epic Collections and things like that. And so I will be back soon. My next one I promised Fantastic Four Volume 1, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, some of the finest material there was. I actually lost that volume for a while, and that's why I've kind of been reading side stuff for a bit, but I found it last night. So I finally get to review that. I'll probably be finished with that this weekend. I was about halfway through it already. And I'll have that for you on Monday. All right, guys, we will talk to you soon. See ya.